face this subject with such bravery. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to distance myself from other projects I've done, but really it was about just the sense that I got from her. Like I feel like I knew a few of her in high school. Those girls that walk around looking like they've got something inside of them, something really heavy, looking like they've swallowed a ton of bricks. And I was proud of her. You get to the end of the script and you're like, she overcomes a lot and learns a lot, and is a really fairly simple girl that becomes a very different person by the end. I met this guy. We got together and talked about what we could do with it, and I hadn't worked in a good 2 years, and I wanted something that scared me. I wanted something that I could really jump into head first, and yeah, that was it.
So Peter, in the initial aftermath of 9/11, there were some films that came out that were sort of counterterrorism related, or detention, apprehension, abduction, punishment, and prosecution. And many of those films, people didn't respond to them initially, in the mid-2000s. And some people thought it was too new after 9/11 to have this kind of material. And then some people objected because they said, well, these films are not very sympathetic to the United States and the way it's conducting this war. Now we're living in a new era, post-Homeland, post-Zero Dark 30, another film we're showing actually at this film festival. What appealed to you about this material, and from your perspective as an artist, you had to make a film. You didn't know about ISIS at the time. You couldn't have known about you didn't know that the words lone wolf would enter the national vocabulary. And now Americans may have to consider once again what's it like to conduct this kind of enterprise.
Sure, yeah. I mean, 9/11 is it's one of those things. It's like the Kennedy assassination. It's just one of these big, giant psychic scars in America's psyche. And I always felt like, in the aftermath of 9/11, that no one really dealt with it, so they just kind of glossed over it. We went to war. Oh, that's the answer. We'll just go fight this war. But I feel like America never really took the time to look back on, not in any political way, but just in a very personal, emotional way, but the feeling of vulnerability, what that happened to us, and how that kind of changed and shaped the world. And I just got out of film school when that happened. I mean, everyone remembers where they were. And to me, it created this really interesting dynamic which still exists between the Middle East and the West and America, And it's such a strange dichotomy. I don't know why it's so antagonistic, but it has been. It's been this very antagonistic thing. It's just, there seems to be this kind of large, fundamental conflict that's been constantly brewing between these two sides. And it's one of those things that, as you say, that nobody really wants to look at,
Yes, but you made it an X-ray.
Well, but that's, I think, the challenge really is how do you make Guantanamo Bay? That's something that people have spent the last 14 years trying to forget that it ever happened. I can't tell you how many times when we were making the movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, we're doing this movie, it's about Guantanamo Bay, and they would say that, oh, is Guantanamo Bay still open? Yeah, and I'd be like, yes, it is still open. It's been open, it's still there, even though we don't